Hey everyone, this is Kim from Abundant Life Tarot, and we are doing a video response to Tarot Obsessed from Katey Flowers, and I am so excited because this is my first VR, and I just want to dive right on in, so let's get started. First up, we have the question, what was your first tarot deck? And my first tarot deck was the Gilded Tarot, and it came in the Easy Tarot box, and I don't have it anymore. I gave it away to a very happy teenager to receive that deck, and I used it often. I used it solely for a very long time until I started incorporating other decks that I more resonated with. So that was my first deck. Next up, what is your current favorite tarot deck? Well, let's see. My favorite tarot deck right now, honestly, is the Triple Goddess. And the reason is, it is my workhorse deck. More so for readings for others than I do for readings for myself. That's why I like it, because it is a great deck for love readings for myself when I'm doing a love reading for others. And it's great. It's a low Scarabeo deck, and it's got a lot of crone energy. And I've talked about it before on a few occasions, but I use it often, and that's why it's my favorite right now, because in most love readings, it really speaks to me, whether it's love readings for people who are single, whether it's love readings for people who are married or in a relationship, it doesn't matter. It's a great deck. And even though it has a lot of woman energy or women in it, there's a couple of male entities in here, but men could also receive a reading with this deck and it'd be fine. It's the Three of Swords. So yeah, right now and for a while, this has been my favorite deck. Let's see. What is your most used tarot deck? And that would again have to be the Triple Goddess, but a close second would probably be my Stretch. This would be a close second. Trying to get it out of the box. Okay. Here's the backs. Oh, and I didn't show you the backs of, these are the backs of Triple Goddess reversibles. It has a little white book. And then here's the Stretch. Has also a little white book. Love this deck. It's one that I use for readings primarily for myself, but on occasion I do use readings for others with it. Here's the Page of Wands. There's something so earthy and deep about it, and I like the mixed media myself personally. I edged it in black. I think it adds something to it. And there's the backs. Just love the backs. All right, so next up, what is your least used tarot deck? And that would be the Morgan Greer. And I don't know. I love this deck. It was one of the, after I got the Gilded Tarot, and after some time, I said, well, I want to try to get something a little more traditional. So I got the Morgan Greer, but I have a hard time connecting with it. I used it last week, and I actually had a decent reading with it. So I think what's happening is I'm coming around to it. And so I'm glad I didn't get rid of it. But I don't know. Some people just adore this deck. It's not always hitting with me. But I'm not ready to give it up. Because I like the style. The art style. And it actually, like I said, I had a good reading with it last week. So there you go. Let's see. How did you learn tarot? For me, it was a combination of book study and watching tons of YouTube videos, both videos where there's thankfully tarot experts giving their insights on cards, and then also actually watching the other group, the other tarot group that, you know, that's out there, which is the group who's actually doing readings all the time for people who don't really do the educational piece, and just kind of watching how they did it. And then also I used to do readings per se with playing cards, because I used to be scared of tarot cards growing up. So I used playing cards. So I wasn't afraid of using divination with cards per se and carrying that knowledge onto tarot and oracle. But it wasn't until a few years ago that I started playing, you know, with oracle, then with tarot, and then here we are today. And now I'm taking some online tarot courses. But again, just also I'm a person who likes to be on the job or do on the job. So I learn as I continue to do readings as well. So that's how I've been learning. So there you have it. Let's see. What do you use tarot for? I use tarot for spiritual insight for myself and for others, for questions that maybe can help me move in one direction or the other, you know. I guess for future insight, yes. Prediction, yes. But a lot of times, even when I'm using the tarot for prediction, there's always this element of advice that's coming. So for me, I like the advice component, both for myself and when I'm giving readings, and then also for when I'm doing my own readings on myself. So yeah, that didn't really answer the question, but I guess that's the best I can do, because I don't know. I use it for all sorts of things. Let's see. How do you read tarot? I read tarot both, or now primarily intuitive, but I like reading the book. I'm a book nerd. I like to write. I like to read. And I love the guidebooks, because if you read something, sometimes it'll trigger something for myself as the reader, or my client. It might trigger something for them that I read from the book. Sometimes I'm not called to read the book at all. When I do spreads, I'm writing it out, because a lot of times I like to do my own spreads. But when I'm reading, I like to read intuitively, and I also like to sometimes see what the texts say. But it just depends. I allow my intuition also to guide me on whether or not I even need to look at the book. But yeah, I don't think that books are just written just because. I think that the creator has some insights for why they created the card the way they did. So I'd love to take a look at the book. Let's see. Do you use spreads? Yes, I use spreads. I write my own spreads on the fly. I do them on the fly. I have books or a book on spreads. I like to see spreads and guidebooks. Yes, yes, yes. Love spreads. They ground the message, if you will. They help kind of be the map in the landscape of the reading. And it could be, I'm a card slinger. I like to have some oracle here and a reading, or like a spread of tarot here. But I like to layer it. I love textures and layers of messages, as if I'm having a conversation with, we're having a conversation with spirit, and it's layered, and it's, yeah. Let's see. So, do you mix tarot with other divination systems? I do. I mentioned oracle. So yes, oracle, and also from time to time pendulums. I'm getting into pendulums, and I do use that for some straightforward answers, some straightforward yes or no type answers. So yeah, I use pendulums and oracle. And what makes a great deck? Katey Flowers mentioned diversity, and I'd have to agree with her. Diversity for sure. I am, it's no secret, I am a woman of color. I am African American, or Black as I like to call myself. And I don't, it's, you know, I have a couple of decks that are not diverse, and I got the deck for another particular reason or another. But primarily, I resonate with decks that have people that look like me, and I'm sure some of my clients would appreciate it too. I live in a very diverse part of the country. I live in California, and it's so diverse as far as people, skin colors, race, disabilities, or, you know, abilities, or whatever the case may be, sexuality, religions, everything you could think of. So I like diverse decks, and I'm also not really into animal only decks. I do resonate more with people in my decks. So I like artwork where I could really, you know, see the facial expressions if possible. And then finally, for a deck, if it's going to have a guidebook, it needs to have meanings that really just, it drives home a new way of receiving that meaning for that card if it's tarot. So yeah, I think that's what would make a great deck, or what some considerations need to go into making an excellent deck. So let's move on. We have, how important to you is it that a deck stick to a tarot system? I learned with the Rider-Waite-Smith system, but I am open to others. I'm kind of steering away from Lenormand and Tarot de Marseille, just because I'm having still so much fun with Rider-Waite-Smith. The only deck that isn't really so much following that is the Dreams of Gaia. I know either people love this deck or either people hate this deck, but I still love it, and it doesn't follow exactly to the T the Rider-Waite-Smith. I mean, it uses elements, and it has major arcana, minor arcana, Dreams of Gaia tarot. That's it, everyone knows it has its own system, and I like that. And I was able to read with it. Actually, I know a lot of people say they have trouble with it because they have to always look, they have to rely on the book, but I can look at her images and still get intuitive hits. And I think that's just why this deck resonates for some people and not for everyone else. Some, you know, some decks will appeal to others and not appeal to everyone else. Let's see. Do you have any backup decks? I do. I do want to mention that I wish that I was able to get a backup deck for the stretch, and I almost got a backup deck for this one right before it sold out, but I didn't, and that's okay. I'll just have to love on this one extra much. But yeah, the only deck that I have a backup to is my Darkness of Light. I bought this one at full price and then this one on sale, but in the same month. So when it's autographed, so I wouldn't feel one way or the other about the deck. It's autographed and signed October 2017 for both of them. And I kept this one in its box because I didn't want to take it out. That's my collector's deck. And then this is my working deck. And I haven't edged it, and I don't know if I will at this point. But I love this deck enough to get a backup when it was on sale. I felt like that was a sign. It's a gorgeous deck. And it's the Ace of Cups. Gorgeous, gorgeous deck. So I have two of those, and that's the only backup I have. One that's a collector's and one that I'm actually going to use all the time. Let's see. Do you have any unusual, unique decks? I do. One. Actually, I have a rather small collection, I think. And I'm proud of that. So I have El Tarot de la Brujas. Bruja. I don't know. I don't speak Spanish very well. But this deck is from Spain. And my sister had a job where she traveled internationally. And she knows how much I love tarot and oracle. So she got me this deck. And it has this thick guidebook. And it only has, let me see, how many cards? 28 cards. There it is. It's not reversible, of course, but we have a Bruja Guerrera. And it's numbered at the bottom. Oh, my husband's home. I'm going to try and hurry up. But I can't speak Spanish, so what I do is I have what I have is an app that I kind of hover over the words, and then it interprets it, and then I can interpret the guidebook, and it really actually has some spot-on meanings. It's more prescriptive and more like an oracle than it is. It's not really a tarot deck. It's just it's definitely an oracle, but it says it's tarot, so it's unique. But it's unique because it's my sister. She gave it to me, and I do from time to time feel called to use it. Let's see. What's your current deck crush? I would say the Alchemical Tarot. I go back and forth on if I'm going to get it or not. We'll see. It's on my wish list. Let's see. Do you read reversals? It depends. But I always declare if I will use reversals before, or right before we get into the shuffling. So I set that intention. Generally speaking, no, but there are times I do. And if it does come in reverse, I take a moment, I look at the whole spread, I take a feel for my client and what the question is, and I see, is this an element of shadow that I really need to look at and mention to my client, or if I'm doing a reading for myself, if it's something I need to take in. So I follow those intuitive hits. So to answer the question, it depends. And then let's see, if you could only use one deck, which one would it be? And that would be, I know I'm going to cheat. It's a tie between the Tarot of the Ages and the Cosmic Tarot. Hi, Boo. So I know that's not fair. I'd say Tarot of the Ages more than likely because it's a good workhorse deck. And that's it. So there you have it. That's my video, Tarot Obsessed video response. And thank you so much for watching. Take care.